How's it going, everybody? This is Gene here with Entropy & Sons, and today I have a tutorial video for you for the oscilloscope. Actually, one of two oscilloscopes on the synth. This one is the CRT phosphor decay simulation oscilloscope. It's trying to simulate being like an actual CRT monitor. We have another oscilloscope on the synth. It's the three-dimensional oscilloscope. This is a more conventional one. This is probably what you expect when you hear the word oscilloscope in synths. So I don't have it actually in screen, but you can see back here I have two cables plugged in. These are hooked up to just basic Eurorack LFO modules, and they're plugged into the oscilloscope, and you can see it's rendering the waveform right now. I'm gonna play with like the frequency of some of the waves. I'm just twisting some knobs on this oscilloscope, or on the LFOs I have here. So right now it's in polar mode. So first of all, this is the create view, and it actually has laid out the modules that define the oscilloscope. So we're gonna go into this thing right here, which defines how the waveform is rendering. Right now, well, right here you can change the CV input channels, and to be clear, this is definitely designed explicitly for CV rendering. You can actually use the internal LFOs on the synth too, so you don't have to use CV, but it was definitely designed with CV visualization in mind. Right now we're in polar mode. We can turn polar mode off. You have some scale and offset controls, which I'm gonna change right here. So now we're just back to just rendering two, I think they're sine waves, or one's a sine wave on the X channel and there's a triangle wave on the Y channel. And again, I can just twist these knobs here and just, you can see that it changes the visualization. You have to take my word that I'm actually changing the knobs on the Eurorack LFOs. But yeah, so you can change the amount of the waveform here. You can change the waveform's color. You can make it smaller or larger. And you see, when I make it smaller, it takes a second for it to actually cut out, because it's actually doing like a decay. And then you have some scale and offset controls right here. These offset controls are how you would actually use the oscilloscope to render internal LFOs. Maybe we'll set that up in a second. All right, so I'm gonna reset some of these variables. There we go. The oscilloscope's, at least at the beginning levels, fairly straightforward. You have control over the waveform, and you actually have control over the scope too. And this is where things can start getting interesting. So first of all, you can change the decay amount. So you can see it's decaying quite rapidly now. Now it's decaying very slowly. You can set the decay to 1 so that it never decays. But we'll turn it down to a little bit of an amount. You have this like the CRT rendering in the background. You can actually turn that grid off. And you have control over the hue, saturation, and value of the actual oscilloscope background, so you can play around with that too. Actually change the color. And like all instruments on the synth, you have a color, which basically gives you post-processing effects and stuff like that, and lighting, and you have the modulation system. We'll just go in here and actually like add some audio modulation. So now we actually are directly integrating audio input in with it. So you have access to a lot of the cool features of the synth in addition to the oscilloscope. So now we actually have like processing going on right here on the waveform. You can actually do some pretty interesting stuff. Here's a polar waveform that I think we started with. Okay, this is kind of cool. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Renders waveform and lets you mess around with it. It is basically what you would expect from an oscilloscope. You can make it real slow. Yeah, there you go. I think that's pretty much it for this video. All right, stay tuned for the next video. I think it's the Wavy Boy tutorial. Or no, it's the Cat Party tutorial. All right, thanks for coming by.